This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. You are listening to episode number 302, and for Mason, there will be no uniform math today because, unfortunately, 151 is prime. So, sorry, everyone.
I thought Prime was the coach in Colorado.
Well, that's true, too. Right, I could have done 2 times Derek Jeter times Deion Sanders because he's prime. I'm your host tonight, David, and today's game will feature the teams of Tako and Matt Doherty versus Scott and the yet-to-arrive Eric Walling. So let's start with Matt and Matt, and we'll give Walling a chance to show up here. Who wants to go first?
Taco's got the name. Plus, I think he has a mouthful of food. So I'll go first. Good. And some
Doherty,
wine.
how are you, sir?
I'm alive. What's going on in my world? Everything's crazy. Nothing has been normal for like a year and a half in my life. So it's very exciting. So,
Tako, let's go to you. Looks like you're done eating. So congratulations.
Thank you.
How's it going?
So I had an experience today, and in the one of our tenets of the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast is vulnerability. Somebody be vulnerable. I had a toilet seat crack while I was sitting on it today. Just sitting on it, and then all of a sudden just cracked. I don't want to jump straight to 1 + 1 = I'm fat, but it's
tonight you're eating a salad.
It's a hard thing. It's a hard jump not to make. So I'm feeling very humbled that I'm eating a salad. That's kind of what's going on in my world. Our team name for this episode, since as it stands right now, it's a 2-on-1 handicap match until Eric Walling's music hits and he makes the save for Scott. So since it's a handicap match, we will go with a classic team of 2 in the 2-on-1 handicap, and our team name is Two Jobbers Making Our SmackDown Debut.
I just think that's tremendous. Even though you passed up, one of us just broke a toilet seat. So it could have been like, you could have gone with Super Tush or any of those things. All right. The Super Tush push, maybe. Scott, since your partner's not here yet, why don't you talk to us and tell us what your team name is and tell us how you're doing?
It should have been Cracked on Crack, because that's what happened, right? Cracked on this crack.
That's pretty good.
Great episode title also
Crack
that we should not do. Yeah, that we should not do. I'm good. I'm excited. I always love a Lux joint. Right up there for me with like Judd Apatow joints, Hype Davis music videos, and or Hype Williams, whatever his name was, Hype Williams, and David Lux Benchwarmer games are like 3 things that I always enjoy, regardless of how ridiculous they are. So I'm excited for a David game. I don't need help in this handicap match. I'm not worried. Spoiler alert. In about 30 seconds, you're going to hear that pre and post game's the first quarter. So with or without Walling, I'm not worried about it.
Speak of the devil.
And there he is, just in time to save the day.
We'll see.
All right.
There he is. Look at
Walling,
him.
We're already recording, and your timing is perfect.
He's
Walling,
running in from the curtains.
Let's see how this is going. Walling, why don't you tell us how you're doing and tell us what your team name is?
Well, I was surprised. I was surprised that I was part of this. So
you're close.
I like it.
You're not that far off.
Power Rangers, are we that for the 3rd time?
Yeah, I have a team name for us. We'll get into it. We're not Power Rangers again. We're going to evolve like they did. Tonight we're going to be the Turbo Rangers.
The Turbo Rangers?
Yeah. Shout out to the second.
You seriously? That's your guys' team name?
Sure.
Yeah,
It's
Turbo
Turbo
Power
Rangers.
Rangers twice. There's only one way to go after your Power Rangers twice.
Two powers equals a turbo. I think everybody.
Exactly.
There you go.
Okay, well, so you guys are going to be. Wait, I missed this in all the translation because it was. So you're Turbo Rangers.
Yes.
Okay, because Walling, just so you know, your team name was going to be Waiting for Walling, but since you got here so quickly,
it didn't make sense once he popped in though. Yeah.
The team name is now moot. So anyway,
No,
right.
it's Turbo Rangers.
That's right. Good enough. Okay, we've got our teams finally, and we're ready to go. So let's see if we can, since everyone else isn't showing up, let's see if Dan will show up for our rule read.
The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
All right.
Hold on a second before we get started here.
Oh, God.
We both had high quality team names scheduled to make fun of you, David Lux.
That's true.
And then you told us you couldn't have two.
Right,
team
and now I got it with
names
it.
that
Wait,
both
what was
made
yours?
fun of you.
You
No,
vetoed
neither
it.
one of them make
Wait,
fun
what was
of
yours
you.
going to be? 'Cause
I'm
maybe-
No, we're not.
protesting
We're not
this.
saying them. We're not saying them on recordings now because we're going to save them for future games.
No, that's not fair.
Correct.
Yeah,
We're keeping them.
Don't be trying to hide stuff in your back pocket, there, Lux. Come on.
Well, today's first quarter is going to be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 4 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, the answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 25 points.
All right, Matt. Let's see how many of these. Sorry, Matt D. Let's see how many of these you get on your own as if you were playing by yourself.
Yeah,
Oh, it's 3v1 now. Surprise.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, Tako and I still haven't played.
I'm doing the thing where
Oh,
I'm
geez,
holding
that's
the
right.
I'm holding the tag rope and I'm just refusing to let Matt tag in.
That's right.
It's in the Kurt Angle thing where I'm like looking at my gold medal and not paying attention to Shawn Michaels.
Walling, the only reason that you and Tako aren't teamed up is because Scott and I literally teamed up like the last 5 times in a row that
I
played
came
or
in and I
something
was like,
that.
I can't do this.
I love you too.
All right. Question number 1. The nickname of the wrestling announcer who Hulk Hogan inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2006 and the Seattle Seahawks single season passing yards leader.
Yeah, this is very simple. We'll check in.
Turbo Rangers has checked in. 2 jobbers making their SmackDown debut. See if they can start out easy.
Okay, so Mean Gene Okerlund, is that what we're talking about? Wrestling announcer, Hogan inducted. That's not going to help me. Wrestling announcer.
Seattle Seahawks single season passing yards leader would be who?
Why am I spacing on the guy that left and... No, he wasn't much of a passer, though.
Geno Smith? No.
Well, yeah. Well, and neither was former Badger, then went to the Broncos, and now is with the Steelers, or went to the Steelers.
Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson, yeah.
No.
Wrestling announcer. Can you think of any wrestling announcers?
I mean, could be. Oh, okay. So you said it. So I was trying to think it to Okerlund. So it's just Mean Geno Smith.
There you go.
Got it. Okay.
All right. And Turbo Rangers, after about 2 seconds, what'd you have?
Yeah, I'm glad they got there. It means Geno Smith.
Well done. Good job. All right. We're going to move straight on to question number 2. Chaplain and good luck charm for the Loyola University basketball team, whose bobblehead was selling for more than $300 after Loyola made it to the Final Four in 2018. And the coach who has led his team to 24 Final Fours and counting.
Hey, David, I came here partway through the recording just to check in.
Well done. Turbo Rangers has checked in. 2 jobbers. Do your thing.
So the Loyola Chicago good luck charm was Sister Jean.
Yeah, so it's gotta be...
Sister Gino Ariema. Check it in.
All right. And Turbo Rangers?
Yeah, that's exactly what we came up with.
All right. Points for both teams. Well done. All right. We go to question 3. The defensive back, who this year celebrated his 22nd birthday with a pick 6 in the Super Bowl, and after setting the record for most consecutive starts at the start of an NFL career, became the president of the NFL Players Association for 25 years.
I broke off family engagements to check in, David.
He had a birthday party, okay, for a 7-year-old.
That's it. All right. Turbo Rangers has checked in. 2 jobbers once again. Talk it out.
So Cooper DeJean.
Yep.
And then Gene Upshaw.
Yeah.
Is that
there
the
you
guy's
go.
name?
Yep. You got it probably like 3 seconds before I was going to get it. Yeah. Gene Upshaw.
Cool. Cooper DeJean Upshaw.
And Turbo Rangers?
Again, on brand for us. So far, this game had it right away. Cooper DeJean Upshaw.
All right, I'm trying to write my games easier, so well done to both teams. So far, it's Mean Geno Smith, Sister Gino Ariema, Cooper DeJean Upshaw. Question number 4.
Do we check in with the missing link right now, or
Exactly.
wait until the end?
So, quick question. Question number 4. Judging from his between innings routine, what relief pitcher Turk Wendell was famously obsessed with, and former NFL and college basketball referee who has since become the CBS on-air rules expert or analyst.
Hey, David, since we knew the theme, we're going to check in.
All right. Well done. Turbo Rangers is checked in. 2 jobbers. You get to talk it out again.
Okay, so I autocorrect changed my Sterator to Scarator for some reason. So
Gene Skeletor.
yeah, exactly. So Gene Sterator is the second one.
Oh, it's because he didn't he used to brush his teeth or floss his teeth in between innings.
Who's Turk Wendell?
The relief pitcher for the Mets. Well, I remember him for the Mets in like the 90s or something like that. So I think it was either, it doesn't matter for this question because I can't remember if he brushed his teeth or flossed his teeth between innings, but I'm pretty sure it's dental hygiene Sterator.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Agreed.
Sure.
But we'll check in the right answer and somewhere Bomback rolled his eyes for no reason.
All right. And Turbo Rangers, what do you guys have?
So there's 3 things that he did between innings, and only one of them fits the theme. Jumped over the line, hammered down black licorice, and then brushed his teeth. So we checked in with dental hygiene Sterator.
I would have also accepted oral hygiene Sterator,
Right.
but yes, dental hygiene Sterator works. And it's funny you mentioned Bomback because I ran this one by Dan because I knew he'd appreciate it. And Dan's comment was, "I only approve this if you do this when Josh is playing." So I went against Dan's wishes. But all right, well done, well done. After the first quarter, we've had 2 perfect games going. 2 jobbers making our SmackDown debut is at 100 points, and Turbo Rangers is also at 100 points.
We wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
Genius round there, David.
What's that?
What?
Genius, is that what you said?
Yeah, genius round.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
All right, well done. Okay, today's second quarter is going to be the missing link.
The Missing Link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the 5th question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the 5th question.
We already had the missing link.
Okay, question number 1. Swedish tennis great who in 1978, 79, and 1980 became the first person to win 3 quote-unquote channel slams, which is winning the French Open and Wimbledon in the same calendar year.
Channel slam.
It's the first time I've heard that phrase, I think.
I used to do
that
that in the
sounds-
90s when I had multiple things I needed to watch at once.
Wasn't that trampoline basketball league?
Channel slam ball. Check it in.
Yes.
David, for the first time tonight, we're going to check in first.
Awesome. 2 jobbers are checking in first, and Turbo Rangers, give you a couple minutes to talk this out.
I think we're closing in on it.
Yeah, this is I think this is a crossword clue type answer here. When I think Swedish and I think tennis player, I just think Borg, Bjorn Borg. So
Yeah, and it gives us so many options with a missing link.
it does. All right, well, you good? We'll check in Borg.
All right. And 2 jobbers. What do you guys have?
Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
As a person whose mother talks about how I'm half Swedish all the time, I should be scolded if I didn't know at least a little bit about Bjorn Borg.
I like the way that when Walling says Bjorn Borg, he sounds remarkably like the Swedish chef. I just want to point that out.
Okay, so Tako can verify because immediately I said this could be the Swedish chef because
Yep.
Borg, you know.
We're in the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast.
Very good. All right. Well, both teams got it, and I guess I'm probably the only one old enough to remember watching Bjorn Borg play. It used to drive me nuts because I liked McEnroe, and even though McEnroe was a bit of a baby on the court, the Borg and McEnroe had some unbelievable matches back in the day. So
And just as
Anyway.
a disclaimer, every Swedish person I know, all my family members over there hate the whole Swedish chef thing. They think that that's ridiculous. They don't hate much. Swedish people generally don't hate much of anything, but they don't like the Swedish chef.
Of all the things to be offended by, it's a
Right.
puppet. It's a
You should-
puppet with a ridiculous accent.
You should
Tell them. That's where we draw the line.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
should tell them that the Swedish chef has a very important distinction. He's the only Muppet that they use real human hands for.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah,
I would
I
like to
think it is
challenge
true.
that. Beaker, I believe,
doesn't-
or Benson
no.
Honeydew. One of those
No,
two uses
I
real
don't.
hands.
I don't think so.
Mm.
Go back
this
and
is
look.
this is the dumbest argument we've ever had.
Well, I'm gonna look this up while you guys are working.
This
on
is
All
our
right.
opportunity to make the missing link even longer than it normally
That's right.
is.
All right, question number 2. Really short question. Who holds the record for most Super Bowl wins by an exclusively special teams player?
We're gonna check in, David.
Right, 2 jobbers have checked in. Turbo Rangers, yours to talk out.
I think we're close.
Yeah,
can't-
Vinatieri makes the most sense, I think.
I just can't think of anybody who was on any of the repeat teams that would have.
I was thinking, right. Who's the Cowboys kicker and punter?
Right. This is either Vinatieri or someone so obscure that we wouldn't get it anyway. So I think, do you
Yeah, I
want
don't
to
think
just
he'd
go with
do that
Vinatieri?
in a missing. Yeah, because I don't think Matthew Slater. He played for them for a while for the Pats, but I don't think he would have, or because they had that kind of gap in between where they didn't win for a little bit. So
Yeah, I think we got the 4 that we assume that Vinatieri has is probably enough. So
yeah,
I'm good with it if you are.
Pats and one with the Colts.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems much easier of an answer than whatever obscure name he would pull out. And he did say his games are trying to be easier. So
Yeah. Let's save some time and spend more time arguing about Muppets that have used their full hands.
All right, is that a check-in
That's a check-in.
Yes.
Yes.
with the Swedish chef? Okay.
with our hands. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay, 2 jobbers. What did you guys have?
Yeah, so we thought Vinatieri's got 4, I think, with New England. I think he missed the last one, if I recall correctly. Then I was thinking, like, well, long snapper or punter. I mean, we're not going to know this. And then same logic as you guys had. David's trying to make these questions a little bit easier, so Adam Vinatieri.
All right, well, both teams are receiving points, and yes, David is trying to make his games a little bit easier. So the correct answer is Adam Vinatieri. He has 4 Super Bowl rings, which is more than anybody else who just plays special teams. I think Slater only had 3, just
Yeah,
based on
makes
where
sense.
the gaps were. And Gronkowski, not Gronkowski,
Goskowski.
sorry. He picked up where Vinatieri left off and had 3. So our themed linked answers thus far are Adam Vinatieri and Bjorn Borg. Question number 3. Player on track to lead the NBA this season in assist. And in fact, other than Nikola Jokic, the only player averaging more than 10 assists in a game this season.
David, we will check in.
Turbo Rangers is checking in. 2 jobbers. Let's get an answer really quick here.
Well, we're trying to do a little bit of, here are some potential options. Do any of them work with anything that might be themable? I think the two names for this question just on its face that immediately jumped out were Tyrese Halliburton and Trae Young, because I don't think it's like Harden or LeBron, or I would probably lean Trae Young just for the simple fact that both Tyrese and Halliburton feel like less themable words. So if I'm choosing between the two, we've got more options with Trae and Young. Does that seem like reasonable missing link theory, Matthew?
Yes. I don't know the answer.
No, I don't either. Yeah, I guess we'll just check. We'll check in Trae Young.
All right. And Turbo Rangers, what did you guys have?
We went the other way. I think Trae Young was averaging over 10. I feel like maybe he's cooled off a little bit. But I was just reading something yesterday about Tyrese Halliburton and the season he's having and how he should get votes for first team All Pro, but won't make it because of the way the NBA is. So we checked in with Tyrese Halliburton.
Well, one team will be receiving points, and it is the team that played the missing link theory. The correct answer is Trae Young. Now, obviously, by the time this episode drops, the regular season will be over. Jokic is still on pace, last time I checked, to average a triple-double, which I still think is just ridiculous. Trae Young is the only guy ahead of him for assists. He's at, 11 per game or something like that. I think when I last checked, Halliburton was 3rd, maybe 4th. So you're not far off. All right, our themed linked answers thus far are Adam Vinatieri, Bjorn Borg, and Trae Young. Question number 4. No quarterback had ever started all 16 games and led their teams to the playoffs in their rookie season until Joe Flacco and this person did it in the same season. Name the other quarterback to do it besides Joe Flacco.
David, we are checked in.
Turbo Rangers is checked in. 2 jobbers. Couple minutes.
But neither of us are draft sickos, so this question is harder. I
When was
think
Andrew Luck's rookie year?
not till like 2012, 11 or 12, somewhere in there.
Okay, then
He was
Ben,
later.
When was Ben?
Ben was 07.
These
Maybe?
non-draft sickos are giving me a headache right now.
I'm sure none of that was right. Sorry, Scott. I think Flacco was 08 because I think he's the same draft as Oregon legend Dennis Dixon. That's the only thing I'm tying it to. So
Okay.
who else was the 08 draft? What about Matt Ryan? Was he Would he be right around
Sounds
then?
about right. Yeah. So that would have been Rogers' first year starting. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get context in my brain about
the
different
Falcons
seasons and like kind of who was taking. I mean, if Atlanta went to the playoffs that year.
Right. I don't remember because the Niners were pretty garbage around then.
Breeze was already in the league for like 4 years before then.
I'm not going to say a year because Scott's going to get mad at me again because it'll be the wrong year.
Yeah, it'll melt his brain.
Yeah. Ugh. I like Matt Ryan better than Ben.
Sure.
I mean, in life and for this question.
I agree with you there. Go for it.
Okay, we'll check in Matt Ryan.
All right. And Turbo Rangers, what do you guys have?
Yeah, 2008 draft is a 2-quarterback draft pretty much. It's Ryan and Flacco. That's really the only name that made sense because Big Ben had been in the league for 4 years at that time because he's obviously the 04 draft with Eli and Phil Rivers.
Obviously, anybody who doesn't know that is a total borg.
I don't know what they're doing
just
on this
total
show.
borg.
Yeah.
I mean,
a total. Oh, there's our. All right. Well, you gave me the theme. Thanks. Yep. Stop being a total Matt Ryan. We checked in with Matt Ryan.
All right. Both teams are receiving points, and everything that Scott said was exactly my flavor text. So well done. Our themed linked answers thus far are Adam Vinatieri, Bjorn Borg, Trey Young, and Matt Ryan.
Well, Vinatieri ruins my people with 2 first names.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Trey Young, Young MC. I mean, seriously, that's first name, right? So yeah.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I saw Vinatieri Smith.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The other day, yeah.
He goes by Vinatieri Smith.
He goes by Vin.
You gotta go more Italian than that. It's like Vinatieri Carpaccio or something.
That's the rival restaurant to Tony Amonte's Pizza.
There you go.
It's Vinatieri Carpaccio.
Okay, question number 5. Before the year 2000, the only NBA players who had 4 or more scoring titles were Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, and this player.
We'll check in, David.
All right. Turbo Rangers, very fast check-in. 2 jobbers making our SmackDown debut. Last chance in the missing link to talk it out.
Okay, so it wouldn't be Dr. J would have ran into a bunch of people in the early 80s, in the late 70s. And plus, he didn't go to the NBA till, 77 or something like that?
Something like that. My first thought was AI, but those came after 2000. So that negates this.
What about Malone, maybe in the end of the late 90s when Jordan was off for 2 seasons, and then maybe in the late 90s when Jordan wasn't scoring as much as he was in the early 90s?
That's an idea.
Or Kareem in the 70s. But
yeah,
that's the era that's missing on this list here. When you think of Wilt, you think of the 60s and early 70s. Michael, you think of the late 80s and early 90s. So you got the late 90s, early 80s, late 70s.
But late 90s was probably still Michael.
I think you're right, but I just was throwing it out there because I know that Malone's got a ton of points. So
Dominique's got too much crossover with Michael.
Yep, that's the problem here. It's not going to be Bird because Bird was never the scorer, and I don't think it's going to be Magic because Magic had too many other mouths to feed on those teams.
Right.
It's not going to be James Worthy for the same reason. It's not going to be Pippen. It's not going to be Charles.
And then we're getting into deeper cuts like a Bob McAdoo or a.
I mean, it could be Dr. J, but I mean, he had such a short period of time, though.
Yeah, I like Kareem more than I like Dr. J.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, during those 70s, especially from 72 when he was with the Bucks And all those mid 70s seasons, even though when the Lakers weren't all that great, that he still was dominant. He won how many MVPs? I mean, he
Yeah.
had to have.
I
So, all right, you want to do it?
well, sure. Why not? Let's not overdo it.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And Turbo Rangers, what was your answer to the question?
We think we had the theme, and so we thought one player fit it, and that's why we checked in so quickly, and we checked in with George Gervin.
One team is receiving points. George Gervin had 4 scoring titles in the pre-Bird, pre-Jordan, but post, obviously way post Chamberlain, because I think Gervin was in the ABA for a while, but he had 4 scoring titles in the NBA. So our themed linked answers in total are Bjorn Borg, Adam Vinatieri, Trey Young, Matt Ryan, and George Gervin. I do have one correct theme, and I'm going to let the other team talk it out, gents.
Okay, so the last two got me somewhere because wasn't George Gervin's nickname the Iceman?
The Iceman, yeah.
And Matt Ryan is Matty Ice. I don't know the nicknames of the other 3, but that's 2 ice-related nicknames, and
Sure.
that can't be a coincidence. So we will check in ice-related nicknames.
And we'll go back to Turbo Rangers to break this down for us.
All Walling. Glad he showed up.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for calling me out of my family commitments to get this missing link right for once in the last 5 games.
See what happens when you abandon your family?
Yeah. See, kids, abandon your families. You can be good at sports trivia.
Or you can be my dad. Okay, let's keep going.
Well, we got a little. We took a weird right turn there.
I offer up way too much information about my life in this podcast. You don't need to do this either.
That's for a naked bootleg. So
the next OT, guys.
BTP therapy sessions.
That's right.
So Matty Ice got me thinking ice, and then I asked Scott, "Hey, what was Trey Young's nickname?" He's like, "That's Ice Trey." And then thanks to the New York Times crossword puzzle teaching me everything about different ways to ask about Bjorn Borg, I remembered Iceman was his nickname, and so we came up with ice nicknames and checked in with that.
That is spot on right. The one that's probably the least known is Adam Vinatieri, who, like a lot of other people, get the nickname Iceman just because he was so clutch and the big moments never seemed to sort of slow him down. So he was, in some circles, known as Iceman. It's certainly on Wikipedia. And Bjorn Borg was sometimes called the Iceman, which is partially because he was so great under pressure, but also because his name was conveniently Ice Borg. Get it? I didn't make this up. Hey, not my fault. I don't write this. Well, I could, but I don't.
I don't write this. You literally wrote this game.
But I don't come up with a nickname. So we had Ice Borg, the Iceman, Adam Vinatieri, Ice Trey, Matty Ice, and the original George Iceman Gervin. So after the second quarter, we have scores. We actually have a lead now. The Turbo Rangers have come out to a little bit of a lead with 280 points, and 2 jobbers making our SmackDown debut are at 230 points. That will bring us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 25 points.
Since we can never have too many pre and post games, in honor of it this being halftime, this will be pre and post game. And in each of these, a piece of one of the answers of the pre and post game will be a Super Bowl halftime act. And the other piece will just be regular sports. And for the Super Bowl act, I'm going to attempt giving you one of the songs that they performed and the year. So we'll see how this goes. It's not my specialty area. Question number 1. If I Ain't Got You in 2024, and in one of his best postseason games, he caught 9 passes for 121 yards and a touchdown, rushed for 28 yards and a touchdown, recovered a fumble, and even intercepted a pass on defense.
Captain.
All right, the immediate check-in from Turbo Rangers. I could have anticipated that just reading Scott's face. SmackDown debut, time to talk it out.
Well, if I ain't got you, Alicia Keys. So Keyshawn Johnson.
Yep. Enrico.
Yeah. So Alicia Keyshawn Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, check it in.
And back over to Turbo Rangers.
Here, David will tell us this, but I'm thinking this game was with the Bucks. We also checked in with Alicia Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, Keyshawn Johnson doesn't have much of a postseason career.
And that's why I was saying, I think it has to be the Bucks.
Yeah. You read about, I mean, there's not much when you go to his Wikipedia page or anywhere. Like he just didn't make that many postseasons. He played for some lousy teams, but he also just wasn't, I don't know, he didn't seem clutch to me. All right, let's move on to question number 2. The single season record holder for pitching strikeouts for the Astros, and Paradise in 2016, and Million Reasons in 2017. It's a triple.
We're going to check in.
Nice. All right. 2 jobbers have checked in. Turbo Rangers, your turn to talk it out.
He said halftime, right?
Yes.
Because he didn't say like Star Spangled Banner or anything. It has to be specifically at halftime. It's like, who performed 2 years in a row?
Bruno Mars.
No. That could be 2 different answers. These are 3 different answers, Scott.
Yeah. So there's 3. It's
okay.
a pre and post game.
Yeah.
Or pre and post game. One of the.
Okay, so it's something cold Lady Gaga.
Right.
Paradise Cold.
Garrett Cold Plady Gaga.
That's it.
There you go. All right.
All right. Checking that in.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to put words in your mouth. All right. And 2 jobbers. What'd you guys have?
We had the same. Garrett Cold Lady Gaga.
Well done. Don't have anything more to add. Scott figured out how to parse that. I know they're hard to read sometimes. Okay, question number 3. As Walling might say, the reason why I created a round like this. Here we go. Squabble up in 2025. And QB with the most passing yards in Jacksonville Jaguars history. And hot in here in 2004.
We'll check in.
All right. Turbo Rangers have checked in. 2 jobbers. I'll let you talk this one out.
Matt, I've got it, but if you want to play, I won't spoil it for you.
No, go ahead. So just tell me what. I don't know.
If you want to play.
So it's come on, just tell me who does squabble up. I forget.
Kendrick Lamar.
Go ahead. What is it? I'm having.
It's Kendrick Lamarck Brunelli.
Mark Brunel. There you go.
Check it in.
All right. And Turbo Rangers?
We also checked in with Kendrick Lamarck Brunelli.
That's correct. And I rehearsed this one over and over again to make sure I could say Kendrick Lamarck Brunelli without hesitating. And that is correct. So well done to everybody. That was a very fast halftime, but sometimes they're just like that. So
there's Vinatieri's last name. Vinny Kendrick Lamarck Brunelli.
Vinatieri Kendrick Lamarck Brunelli.
Yeah. Vinny for short.
You're not saying it right. Lamarck Brunelli.
Lamarck Brunelli.
I need a wine pairing for the Lamarck Brunelli.
I'm making the kick and we win at a Super Bowl.
It's getting hot in here.
Isn't that the reason why?
Your clothes.
Isn't that the principle that's behind why airplanes fly? The Brunelli.
The Brunelli effect.
The Brunelli
effect. Yeah.
So after halftime, we have scores of 2 jobbers making our SmackDown debut with 280 points, trailing by 50 points behind Turbo Rangers, who are at 330 points. Today's third quarter is going to be 5-on-3.
Five on 3. For this quarter, there will be 3 categorized lists containing 5 items, where each item is worth 10 points. The teams will attempt to guess as many items as they can. However, if a team has an incorrect guess, they will receive 0 points for that list.
Question number 1. Besides Tom Brady, who are the 5 quarterbacks that have thrown 100-plus touchdown passes for 2 different teams?
All right, we're checked in.
Turbo Rangers has checked in. 2 jobbers.
Thought we had a list now. I just thought of a few that I think might throw.
Yeah, you just
way out
threw a
of
late
whack.
wrench in there. Okay, so currently we're working because I asked a
I
similar
even had it
question.
wrote down.
I asked a similar question somewhat recently of quarterbacks with 15,000 yards passing for multiple teams.
Yes, you did.
And those 4 were Peyton Manning, Carson Palmer, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, and then Matthew Stafford's really close. So
listen. So here's my thought process. I don't think Peyton Manning had a ton of touchdowns with the Broncos, because he was there for 4 seasons, and he wasn't throwing a ton of touchdowns at late in his career. He was okay. So that's why I want to question that one. I really want to rethink the Kurt Warner one, because I'm pretty sure he had 100 touchdowns with Arizona.
Okay, I don't hate it.
I'm waffling on the Tarkington one. Now, he was with the Giants for a solid 3 seasons, maybe 4 in the 70s there. But quarterbacks weren't throwing like a monstrous amount of touchdowns back then. So 20 would have been like a lot.
Sure.
25 would have been a lot. So even 4 seasons with 25, that seems like a lot. So
Yeah. So do you want to swap in Warner for Peyton then and go
I do.
Warner, Stafford, Palmer, Goff, and Cousins? Do you want all five? Do you want to take
I
anybody else off?
I don't know that I want to go with Cousins at all because I don't think he had 100 at Washington. He
Okay.
was only there for like 4 seasons max.
All right, let's
Okay.
agree to something and move forward here.
Okay, so
Palmer,
then let's go
Warner,
Goff and Stafford.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll check in those four.
Okay, and Turbo Rangers?
Yeah, a lot of similar names for us. Drew Brees came up, but not sure that he got to 100 with the Chargers. Alex Smith is a guy that came up. Not sure that he got to 100 with the Niners. And then, yeah, I remember Taco's question. So a couple guys that I immediately thought of were Carson Palmer and Kurt Warner. I think they both on this list. So we had those two. And then Peyton Manning threw 50 in one season for the Broncos. I think it stands to reason that he could have gotten to 100, and we think that he did. We completely kind of blanked on Stafford until after the fact. So we ended up checking in with Peyton Manning, Carson Palmer, and Kurt Warner.
One team is receiving points. So let me run the list. There was definitely some trap answers here. So I'm sorry, not sorry. First of all, Peyton Manning is correct. And you're right, Scott, he still has the record for touchdown passes in a season. He had 55 one of the seasons with Denver. So he was definitely there. Number 2 mentioned, but I don't think anybody ended up going with it unless I've forgotten already. But Fran Tarkenton. Did you guys have Tarkenton?
We talked about
You brought
him.
up Tarkenton.
Tarkenton is correct.
Huh.
The other three
Oh,
are
really?
Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner, and Jared Goff. Stafford was one of the trap answers. He's not quite there yet. He was
Goff
the
got there,
first.
huh?
He was the first guy off the list. So I have 30 points for Turbo Rangers and Goose Egg for the two jobbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question number 2. The 5 players who have the franchise season record in home runs for an AL East team all set since 2000.
We'll check
All
in,
right.
David.
Turbo Rangers has checked in. 2 jobbers.
Okay. I think we're getting pretty close.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge definitely just hit 62 for the Yankees. I'm almost positive Chris Davis has the Orioles record.
Sounds right. We both think that Big Papi for the Red Sox.
And we both think Joey Bats for the Blue Jays. I'm almost positive he went 50 plus at least once.
Yeah.
So that seems right. And then the Rays.
Yeah, I said the only name for the Rays that I could think of that's a home run hitter was Carlos Pena.
And I don't hate that answer. Like there's just that
There's
there's one
just
franchise
a
that
lot
just
of-
doesn't have
Yeah.
like a lot of pure
Clear-cut
power guys.
dude. Yeah.
Because Longoria wasn't getting up there.
No, he was in the maybe the high 20s, low 30s.
Right. Like, a name that popped into my head was BJ Upton. He's not getting that many home runs. He
He
probably
had
hit in
pop,
the
but
30s.
he wasn't hitting over 40.
Yeah.
I'll bet you the number we're looking for is like in the mid 40s or low 40s or something like that.
Sure, that sounds accurate. I don't think anybody that's playing for them now is a super
They're not a
power
home run
hitter.
hitting team over the past like 6 or 7 seasons.
No, not really.
I mean,
if
I'm not.
if
we
you
could just
if
go
you're
with
feeling
the,
pretty
let's just-
decent
No, I
about
say we
Carlos
just go
Pena.
with the 4. I mean, that is a guess. It's the only name that I could think of that I think would even come close.
Sure.
But then again, there probably is, I don't know. Again, if we're talking about in the low 40s, maybe Longoria did hit 39 one season. I don't know. I don't think
That's
he did.
true. Should we just check in the
Let's
4
just
then?
check in the 4. Davis,
Okay.
Judge, Papi, and Batista.
All right, in Turbo Rangers, what'd you guys come up with?
Yeah, we had Bautista and Judge and Ortiz really fast. Davis, I'm pretty sure, set the single season record for home runs, and then the single season record repeatedly for worst batting average for every year after that. Yeah, we had a similar conversation about the Rays, but Scott seemed to think that Carlos Pena had a high 40s year, and since Randy Arozarena hitting like 50 in one postseason didn't count, we didn't go with that. So we
That's
checked
right.
in
I forgot about that.
with Carlos Pena for the 5th one for the Rays.
Both teams are receiving points. Well done. Too bad you didn't pull the trigger on Carlos Pena. But yeah, so it's Batista 54 in 2010, Chris Davis 53 in 2013, Carlos Pena, everybody was all around. It was 46 in 2007.
It's at 47. Damn it.
Okay. Big Papi, David Ortiz 54 in 2006, and Aaron Judge obviously 62 in 2022. So well done. Good job sniffing that one out. Question number 3, very similar. The 5 players who have the franchise season record in home runs for an NL East team, all set since 2000.
Hi, David. I've
Hey.
abandoned my family to check in again.
It's just
All
it
right.
sounds like the plot of a Liam Neeson movie.
Yeah.
I've abandoned my family.
To check in.
Oh my God.
All right. 2 jobbers, you can talk it out.
I think we're pretty solid on a few. Pete Alonso for the Mets, Matt Olson for the Braves, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Probably still Giancarlo Stanton for the Marlins. And then Ryan Howard, when he won MVP with the Phillies, had 58, 59, somewhere massive up there. Then we're on the Nats. You said Alfonso Soriano, and I like that answer because I think his 40-40 season was with the Nats.
Yeah, because we'd had this conversation just a couple of weeks ago about, I think, David, was that you that hosted that game? I forget who hosted that game, but was talking about stolen base home run combo, after. And I remember looking up later on that Alfonso Soriano had how many do you have? 55 stolen bases and 40 plus or some ridiculous numbers. Not 55, but anyway, he had a ridiculous season. Maybe he had 2 ridiculous seasons or the Nats with or something. But then the other names that we talked about with the Nats were Harper, and then I brought up Sato, right? Soto, excuse me.
Sato,
sorry.
That's like a Mortal Kombat character hitting home run.
Both those guys
Choose your
are
fighter.
Japanese baseball legend Juan Sato.
But my point was that those guys are big boppers and they're clutch hitters, but I don't think they don't rack up huge numbers.
Don't say Big Bopper around Scott. He gets triggered.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Who was on that plane?
Pat's comment. he said on the right
big
side.
bopper. All right,
the
back
third
to
row back.
All of that is to say, I think I like Soriano for the Nationals. So I'm
We're
good
checking in with those 5.
All 5 of those: Soriano, Ryan Howard, Pete Alonso, Matt Olson, Giancarlo Stanton.
All right. And Turbo Rangers, what'd you guys check in with?
We had similar answers, but we had one different. We had Ryan Howard from The Office. We had Pete Alonso. We had Giancarlo. I think Mike. No, was he Giancarlo at the time? Stanton.
I think he was Giancarlo.
Okay. We went back and forth on the Braves one, and we couldn't decide between Andrew Jones, Matt Olson, and Ronald Acuna because I am an idiot on Acuna. So we just checked in with our last answer of Bryce Harper for the Nationals.
Wait, so recap your answers. You had Soriano, but then you also had Harper?
Howard.
No, we didn't have
Howard, Alonso, Stanton, and Harper.
Okay. One team will be receiving points. So let me run the list real quick. So the Braves is Matt Olson, 54, just a couple years ago. The Marlins is Stanton, 59 in 2017. It's hard to believe that record will ever be broken.
No, it won't.
The way things are going. The Mets, it's Pete Alonso, 53 in 2019. The Phillies is still Ryan Howard, 58 with 2006. And the Nationals is Alfonso Soriano, 46 in 2006.
I'm Soriano.
Well done. So 2 jobbers, 50 points, and Turbo Rangers with the goose egg. After the third quarter, we have scores of 2 jobbers making our SmackDown debut with 395 points. And just ahead with a lead is Turbo Rangers with 435 points. And that will bring us to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
All right, for the fourth quarter tonight, here are our categories. Question 1, the not-so-hidden Eid question, which will be about college women in sports. Question number 2, the not-so-hidden Lux question, which will be about Major League Baseball statistics. Question number 3, the not-so-hidden Draft Sicko question, which will be about the NFL Draft. And question number 4, the not-so-hidden Clipboard Captain question, which will also be about Major League Baseball.
College women's sports.
College women's sports. Women's college sports. I don't know, whatever.
College
sport.
College
women.
College women. Who
Just
play sports.
say women
Yeah.
Man.
in the
Well,
category
no,
of women.
College women definitely play different sports. College
Women in sports. How's that? Women in sports.
I know that at my college, the girls, their only sport they were good at was ghosting. So
That feels like a you problem.
More deep revelations from Scott
Yes.
in casual conversation.
yeah, what a contemplative game.
He's working through a lot of stuff.
The
in this
episode
game.
title be Scott's therapy session.
Yeah, that's right.
Scott's
Scott's exposure.
Scott's unintended therapy session.
Ben and his family, Taco broke his seat. I've been contemplative, and Matt's had a tough year and a half, as he said. So
That's right.
It's now time for the teams to place their wagers.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Benchwarmers TP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
All right, now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question number 1, the not-so-hidden Eid question. There are only 2 NCAA Division I schools that have a men's basketball program but do not have women's basketball. Name either one. As a hint, the 2 men's teams are in the same conference, and the winner of the 2025 NIT tournament was from that same conference.
David, we'll check in.
All right, Turbo Rangers checked in. 2 jobbers. Chance to talk this out for a minute or two.
I think we've got a decent
Yes.
idea at an answer. So Chattanooga won the NIT because I remember seeing they beat UC Irvine on some like late. I think UC Irvine like missed a layup at the buzzer or something that would have won it for him or something. So we're looking somewhere in the south-ish, and where my mind went was that if schools have a men's basketball program but don't have a women's basketball program,
They
it's
probably
'cause-
don't have females in the school.
right. It's because they're men only. So like military academies or something. And then the Citadel is in South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and VMI
Is in Virginia.
Virginia Military Institute. So I kind of like those 2 as answers because I know they've got men's athletic departments.
Yeah. Let's go with
Okay.
those 2.
All right, we will check in VMI and the Citadel for 100 points.
So I only asked for 1. So
Oh.
So we check in VMI and the Citadel for 200 points.
Done. All right. So just give me 1 to just make this official.
The Citadel.
Citadel.
Okay. All right. And Turbo Rangers, what'd you have?
Similar discussion, except I didn't know the NIT champ, but I did attack it from the military school angle, and the Citadel, while also sounding like an awful place, sounds like a place that doesn't have women's sports. So we checked in with Citadel. We also checked in with VMI, but thanks to the other team for checking in with 2 answers and reminding us we only need 1.
Well, both teams are receiving points and would have had both answers. So the correct answers are Citadel and VMI. Chattanooga did win the NIT. Taco was right about that. Citadel didn't go co-ed until the mid-90s, which was a big deal at the time if you were tracking it. VMI went co-ed a few years later, and both of them are still 87%-ish men. So, yeah, didn't really prioritize having women on campus and now don't really prioritize women's sports. So that is the correct answer. I'm not condoning any of this. I'm just pointing out facts. So
Well, is Eric
Sounds
E
like
the
a
athletic
condom.
director at one of those
Yes.
schools?
that's
Both, actually.
Both.
They're both.
Here we go. On to the not so hidden David question. Matt Doherty, you're going to just hate this because you hate all my statistics. Who was the only player in Major League Baseball history who had 400 plus home runs, 500 plus doubles, 1,500 plus RBIs, 1,500 plus runs, 300 plus stolen bases, and fewer than 50 times being caught stolen? He's also the only player in Major League Baseball history besides Shohei Ohtani to have a 12 plus home run, 15 plus stolen base calendar month. Though he is eligible, he is not in the Hall of Fame.
We'll check in, David.
2 jobbers making our SmackDown debut have checked in. Turbo Rangers, you have about 30 seconds.
I'm fine with, your.
Bonds and A-Rod, right? Are the
Right.
2?
Did Sheffield steal enough bases?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think he got the 300.
We know Palmeiro didn't. We can name a lot of guys that meet most of this,
Correct.
which is why this is a pain in the butt answer.
Yeah, if I had to pick between Bonds, seems too obvious, but then again, it's like so does A-Rod.
Yeah.
But A-Rod seems more likely to steal 15 bases in a month than Bonds. Even because the thing is, if Bonds was doing 15 steals in a month, he probably wasn't. Is before he would hit 12 homers in a month. That's probably Pirates
Fair.
Bonds, and A-Rod seems more likely in like 96 or 97 to have been able to do 12 homers and 15 steals.
I really don't know that we're going to get anything more concrete than that. So if you have a strong feeling one way, I'm fine going with that.
We will check in with Alex Rodriguez for 100 points.
Let's go to two jobbers.
Okay, so I went off this from I have like looked at the 300 club for homers and steals is not big. So that narrowed it down. Bonds and A-Rod are both on there. My mind went to two guys that I know are 300, and I think are both 400. And I couldn't decide between the two, and those were Andre Dawson and Carlos Beltran. And Matt said flip a coin. Rather than flipping a coin, I wrote both of their names on a piece of paper and then spun my pen around and picked whichever one pointed it at. And so we are checking in Carlos Beltran for 100 points.
I think that's the right choice.
Well, your flipping a coin karma worked, and the correct answer is Carlos Beltran. Yeah, this actually came up because, I don't know, streaming a book on baseball, and Carlos Beltran made their top 100 baseball players, and they had bits on each of them. And the guy was sort of showing that he's actually a fairly unique guy in terms of his accomplishments. The fact about Shohei Ohtani just came up last year. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani went off, as we all know. In August, he had the second ever 12-plus home run, 15-plus stolen base calendar month. The last time that happened was Carlos Beltran exactly 20 years prior in the year he was traded.
He did go off in that month.
Like a June trade, and he just went bananas in August. I mean, 12 home runs and 15 stolen bases in a month is pretty impressive. Obviously, it's only happened twice. So anyway, all right.
Also, I could have saved you a coin flip by saying Andre Dawson has been in the Hall of Fame for like 15 years.
That's true.
Oh, well, that
is also true. That is very true. Yeah, that's the other piece, by the way, is that Carlos Beltran has been hovering around that 70% mark too.
I think Andre Dawson and A-Rod might be the only 300 club members that didn't play for the Giants at any point in their career, because it's like Mays, Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds, Beltran. Steve Finley is 300.
Steve Finley. I was trying to think of his name earlier. Yeah.
And Reggie Sanders.
I was going to
say
Reggie Sanders.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Here we go. Question 3. Well, we have a lead change, by the way. I should point out. We won't bother talking about it because it was kind of a big swing. But yeah, okay. Two jobbers making our SmackDown debut is now at 595. Turbo Rangers at 435. We'll see if the last couple of questions can turn this back around. So, the not-so-hidden draft sicko question. 1990 to 1995 was not a good stretch for number one overall picks in the NFL draft. The 6 players taken during those years combined for only 5 Pro Bowls. 1 by Russell Maryland, the other 4 by one other player. Name that player.
We're going to check in.
All right. As expected, fairly fast check-in by our draft sicko. So, Turbo Rangers has checked in. 2 jobbers. 2 minutes to talk this out.
There was a fill the gaps that I wrote that was about number 1 draft picks of the 90s. Nice. So Maryland was in there. Dan Wilkinson's in there, but he's not making Pro Bowls. Steve Entman's in there. He's not making Pro Bowls. Oh, Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost positive. I think he was 92 or 93, but he was the number 1 pick in that time. So we will check in Drew Bledsoe for 95 points.
All right. And Turbo Rangers, what did you guys have?
Just had to be process of elimination. You name Russell Maryland. The others are Steve Entman, Dan Wilkinson, Kajana Carter, Jeff George, and Drew Bledsoe. And the only one that made sense was Drew Bledsoe. So Drew Bledsoe for 100 points.
Both teams are receiving points. And Scott, you talked about that like you were rattling off names of your kids. I mean, that was just ridiculous. I mean, that was just unbelievable. Yeah, so 1990 was Jeff George, 0 Pro Bowls. 1991 was Russell Maryland, aforementioned 1 Pro Bowl. 1992, Washington legend Steve Entman, 0 Pro Bowls. Then Drew Bledsoe, who made 4. Dan Wilkinson and Kajana Carter made 0. So kind of a disappointing run, actually. And I don't know whether the scouts have gotten better or what, but like there were some pretty lame. And some of those were injuries, but Emden was just a total mess. And
it was a weird time. A lot of defensive tackles going 1 overall, like just a position that probably shouldn't. Like
100%. All right. Well, we go on to our last question, and that is the not so hidden clipboard captain question. Who am I? In my major league career from 2007 to 2022, I pitched in 807 games, but only started 14. In the 2010s, I pitched in 702 games, more than any other pitcher, and also pitched for 10 different teams. Name me.
Oh
Yeah,
oh my God. We're checking in, David, you sicko.
Okay. All right. Well, two jobbers have checked in. So for the last time tonight, Turbo Rangers, your turn to talk this out.
This would have been impossible otherwise.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't have got this.
Because Jesse Roscoe had retired well before.
I think you got it, though.
I think we did too, because I think the exclamation made me think of something. And so we checked in with the Clipboard captain, Tyler Clipboard.
For 100 points.
For 100 points.
All right. And two jobbers.
We were just talking about Immaculate Grid All-Stars, and this is one of my favorite Immaculate Grid All-Stars. Yeah, it's not a clipboard captain, it's a Clippard captain. We also checked in with Tyler Clippard for 100 points.
Yeah, all right. I've been doing this podcast too long. People are trying to see through my silliness. When I reverse engineer a whole quarter just so I can write the not so hidden clipboard captain question about Tyler Clippard, that's exactly what's going on. So well done to everybody. Our game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. Turbo Rangers finishes with a very respectable 635 points, but our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted, who else? Tyler Clippard Award, with 790 points, is two jobbers making our SmackDown debut. Yay. So there it is, everybody. Oh, there's the door to yay. Anybody want to talk about anything? We were supposed to have a guest tonight. It didn't work out, so now somebody's got to throw something in.
I just don't like that Walling abandoned his family and he didn't get a win.
Yeah,
that's all right.
For nothing.
But you know what? I feel like we made a lot of progress tonight. We worked on ourselves. We were vulnerable. We shared our feelings and thoughts. And, I think next week's session is going to be just as productive. We're approaching some real breakthroughs.
We have some takeaways to come back with, so
I'm going to circle back.
Working on it.
Yeah, we'll update the Dream Journal and we'll come back next week.
Next time we'll be sure to blame everything on Scott. So
we're gonna have to do some Zoom trust falls pretty soon, I think.
Nice.
Oh boy,
Alaska to the next.
No, but I just Scott, seriously, fall down.
Benchwarmer Vision Quest coming to Patreon.
We're gonna do one of the Benchwarmer Darkness retreat where we play all of our games in pitch black.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, just
out of the silence, somebody's yelling, Ron Vallone for 100 points.
From out of the darkness. Yes, that's tremendous. Okay, well, I'll close us out. On behalf of Doherty, Tako, Grimes, Walling, and all the other Benchwarmers, this has been David Lux, and as I always say, hopefully we'll continue to be David Lux. Thank you for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, and until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
Ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.